Hey YouTube, it's Mike Pangangster here, and today we're going to be doing my build. So, well, my build. It's not really my build, but it's a build that I've seen online and I basically modified it to my liking. So I have a Ice Strike Monk. Reason why I'm doing the video, because I've been asked a few times if ever you would show what you're running. So might as well just show you guys what I'm running as an Ice Strike Monk. It's basically a 300k Ice Strike Monk. It's actually higher once you're in game, of course, like fighting. There's certain things that make the DPS go higher, right? But as a face stat, as you see, it says 295k. Let's call it 300k, give or take, same thing, right? So there's a few things for sure that you're gonna need for it to actually work, of course. Like for example, if you look at my spirit, I have 240. You only need 235 to run it. But yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys how I get my spirit. Also, like I said, like there's certain things in the build that are like required for it to work. It's only normal. I don't think it's an expensive build. I'd say, for sure it's gonna cost you about 50 divines at least, give or take. It's gonna be probably anywhere around that area because today the market is very hard to it's just very hard to judge the market today because like there's less people playing the standard league and all that stuff right now because they're waiting for the new league. So so give or take, it's a 50 divines, okay? Which I believe is way cheaper than, for example, the people that are running like attribute monk stuff like that, which you have to get like really expensive items for it to be really overpowered, right? So another thing, I feel like there's particular things that makes the build strong. For example, like I feel like there's certain thresholds that you need. For example, like when it comes to mana, I feel like having anything less than 1,000, like for example I have 971, starts to become a bit of an issue. This is why I'm going to show you like in my passives how I fix that, you know what I mean? But also for example, like with the using the right like mana potion, which like makes a big difference also. But so I feel like having 1,000 plus mana is kind of like the minimum that you need for like playing a monk, especially Ice Strike, because you kind of consume a lot of mana. The other thing that I've noticed a lot is, for example, when you look at the shield, I feel like the minimum requirement for anybody to run like and be able to like destroy the end game, I think you need at least 4,000 damage shield. I just believe that's the minimum requirement that you need. You could rock with lower, it's very normal. I've seen people rock with lower and still do very well. Also, I've seen people rock with a lot higher, right? So the higher the better. And another thing I've also noticed when it comes to like if you want to call them threshold or whatever, is invasion. For me, I feel like invasion, like I've run 70 invasion and I've run also 80, and I could tell you that there's a difference. Like you would assume that the difference is like on paper 10%, like not that much, but I can tell that once I start going over 70, you start noticing the difference. 75, I would say, will be the minimum requirement for you to actually be able to actually tell a big difference, okay? 80, man, your character starts really becoming like godly, right? It's kind of hard to get there. You really need the right gear for that. Another thing, of course, everybody knows, your resists, they have to be capped. Chaos, a bit of an issue. I'm not running the thing that you run on one life, so I don't have max chaos, but I do have 66%, which I feel is good enough. I don't really die often, besides if I really run like some crazy like map and I'm not paying attention, because you could always like like exit out, right? So I mean there's ways to prevent that, but you know what I mean. So also you're gonna need 42 strength to be able to run all the skills that I run, right? Because you need a certain amount of like attributes to be able to run like a certain amount of skills. So I have 225 on dex and 195 intelligence and 42 strength. And the reason why I say 42 strength is because for me to be able to have all these spells over here, I need, or these abilities, whatever you want to call them, I need 42 strength to be able to run them, right? The requirement. So anyways, let's get into the build. I'll show you guys the gear at the end. Let's just get into the build real quick. So when it comes to the quarterstaff strike, don't look at that. I don't use that. I'm not even sure why there's certain things in it, but just forget that one. That's just like a by default. So let's go with Tempest Bell. So Tempest Bell, I have a level 21. I am using Overabundance. I'm also using Heavy Swing, Super Critical, and Ruthless. Now, I was gonna get a fifth sock and all that, but I just got lazy. It's been a while. As you can see, I haven't even upgraded my skills to 21. I just basically was able to do what I'm doing with my current base and DPS that I figured I don't really need. The same thing with Ice Strike. I could get a level 21, but I'm still running my level 20. Anyways, Ice Strike, we have Eft, we have Martial Tempo, we have Concentrated Effect, we have Cold Infusion, and we have Primal Ornament. Now, also another thing, I am not running like Arrow of Ice. I mean, I'm running Arrow of Ice, but I'm not running Arrow of Lightning, so I'm not doing that combination everybody's doing. I wanted to kind of make it a little bit more my own. So what I did is I decided to basically use Cast on Freeze, and since this is a spell, what am I saying? Something that you could basically put a spell in it. So we had decided to use Eye of Winter, which is like this area effect of like ice comets coming out, which is pretty cool. We also use Cold Penetration, and we use Glaciation, okay? So that's for Cast on Freeze. Charge Staff, we are, again, level 19 over here. We have Persistence and Ice Bite. We're also using, of course, Green Feast. Everybody's got to run this. We're using Cannibalism over here. You don't have to really put anything here, but if you want, just add whatever you could. Combat Frenzy, we are using, what's it called? Perfusion and Clarity for mana. Arrow Device. Again, Arrow Device is a level 20 spell. We only have 4 sockets to it. So we have Cold Mastery, Elemental Focus, Magnitude Effect, and Cold Exposure. Wind Dancer, to get your invasion to like 75 plus. Well, at least with the gear that I have. We're using Pin, we're using Lockdown, we're using Soul Thief, and we're using Wind Wave. By the way, if I'm going too fast, guys, just pause the video and go ahead and look at it. Ghost Dance, we're using what's it called? Fast Forward. So those are my skills. Let's get into, like, before we get into the passives, if I could get out of here, let's get into the gear. Okay, so there's certain thing that if ever anybody would ask me like where I should put my money, I would say there's a few items that you need to have for it to work. For example, when you look at your rings, I like to have rings that have the elemental to all resistance. And if you notice, on one of my rings, I have fire and cold, and on the other one, I have lightning. And the reason for that is because when you use the ingenuity belt, it basically gets all your stats, all your resistance to 75 plus, right? So that's a requirement. Of course, when you're looking at your rings, you prefer getting physical damage and increase, well, physical damage, cold damage. If you could get lightning damage like this one, and get stuff like, let's see, rarity to items, or get some attributes like dexterity or intelligence, all of those are good. Same thing goes for this one. As you can see, we have physical damage, we have cold damage, we have a very low roll on maximum mana here, but you know, we got the stuff, basically the stuff that we wanted on our rings, right? And the reason for that is because we have Ingenuity Belt, which increases the strength of our rings. Again, this is not even an expensive belt. As you can see, 66% increased bonuses gained from my rings. So there's a lot of upgrades that could happen to this, to the for me to increase my DPS to go even much higher and stuff like that on this build. But I wanted to keep it like something that was reasonable for people, like to spend around 50 divines. The belt itself, I don't really remember how much I paid, but I think I paid somewhere around 6 divines, 6 or 7 divines, because they had the 20% increased maximum energy shield on it. Also, we have the End of Wisdom here, which is also another requirement that you're gonna need for this build. Of course, the one that I have is very low budget. As you can see, it's not one of those expensive ones. I think I paid, I'm gonna say 50 exalts or something. It's really cheap. It's really worth having on your having, you know, like these pair of gloves are really good. Definitely helps you to increase the DPS. So these two are definitely required. Again, the rings, of course, the chess piece. So when people ask like, where do you put your money? Get a good chess piece. I paid 10 divines for this one. Okay, as you can see, we needed chaos resistance, right? So this is one of the pieces that we get our chaos resistance. Of course, it gives you the flat resistance of the implicit, whatever you want to call it. Is it implicit? Yeah, implicit. We get 13 chaos resistance. but then you get the invasion and maximum energy shield that you need on the shield, and you also get the whatever. I ended up getting fire resistance. I wasn't really looking for it, but we have chaos and we have stun threshold. Now, the reason why I say get a good chess piece, because this is what's gonna basically give you your spirit. Okay, so the higher your invasion and the higher your energy is on your chess piece, the higher it's gonna work for your passive tree to get the spirit that you need, of course. So a piece like this, I paid 10 divines. I don't know how much it is on the market right now. I imagine it's still around 10 divines, probably even more depending which one you get. But try to get something with over 1,000 invasion and over 400 energy shield, and you should have no problem getting your spirits for you to be able to require every ability that I'm using, right? Another thing, the boots. As you can see, this is my other piece that I have chaos resistance. So it's basically on my chest piece and on my boots. So on the boots, we have 27% chaos resistance. This pair of boots here, it's only 30% increased movement speed. I wanted to get the one with 35. Unfortunate, I'm cheap when it comes to like paying for certain things that I don't feel like it's like necessary. Like for example, it's cool to have 35% increased movement speed, but if I have to pay like many divines to get that extra 5 increased movement speed and not lose the stats that I have on my boots, for example, like we have the chaos resistance, we have the dexterity, which dexterity does help my DPS because it gives me the extra attack speed with one of my passives. So, and also, for like the gloves and all that stuff. So I felt like whatever, I'm good. These boots are good enough, so I'm just rocking the same boots. When it comes to the neck piece, we're using one that has basically energy shield, maximum mana, and it also has 33% to critical damage bonus, 27 to intellect, 22% to cold. It's not something that I needed, but it's just that's what I got because I was looking for the critical damage and I was looking for the energy shield, of course, because I want to have. Also, this one comes with the increased mana regeneration. Again, mana regeneration for monks is definitely an issue in this game. At least I feel it's an issue. So getting mana regeneration amulet is very important. And I'm using the Alcoate Overwhelming Strike. It's the one that gives you, I always forget, but I'm going to show you in the passive, but it gives you pretty nice stats for DPS. The helmet, we're using the energy helmet here. Again, we try to get the most energy that we can get. On this particular piece, we went for the 28% increased critical hit chance. We also have 53% increased rarity items. We don't have much rarity in our items. We have a little bit on our ring gear, and of course we have on our helmet. Those are the only two pieces that we have. But because we have 19% on the rings, with the engineering belt, we're getting more. So we're getting probably like around, I'm not exactly sure. I'm just going to put a number out there, maybe like 30 over here and another 50 here. Maybe we have 80% rarity. I don't know. On the weapon, I feel like a lot of people, I've run a video where I basically try to craft the best quarterstaff, and I keep like doing it until like eventually I feel like I crafted the best one that I could. So this is one that I've crafted myself. As you can see, there was actually one guy in the comments in one of my videos told me to put the red sockets that give you the critical damage bonus, and I could tell you, man, what a big difference putting these over the one with the physical damage, the runes. So if you could get these, they're like about 70 exalts each. These sockets, the rune, they're soul cores. I always forget the name. Anyways, they're very good. They give you a lot of damage. But when you're looking for a weapon, don't only look for increased physical damage in your weapon. Of course, you want to have high physical damage, but remember having particular stats that are very important. For example, when you're using your bell, if you could light up your bell on fire, so having a weapon that also has fire damage is very important for you to basically light up your weapon, light up your bell, which increases your damage. Also, 91% increased elemental damage is a good stat to have in your weapon, and of course, critical hit and increased attack speed. And of course, we ended up getting lucky when we crafted the weapon that we got the leech to physical damage as mana, again, to fix our mana issue. The other thing that fixes our mana issue, of course, is the flask over here, the melting maelstrom. This is very good. So if you haven't got one, these go for like 1 divine. I would definitely recommend, probably even less now, for you to get one of these. I run as a charm, I run the one where I don't become frozen. Sometimes, depending the map that I'm running, I may change it to this one right here for the stun. But to be honest with you, I would say 95% of the time I'm always running the one that basically gives me the immunity to freeze. I hate being frozen, right? So let's go to passives. So I'm level 95. Of course, not everybody's gonna be level 95. Some people are gonna be lower, some people are gonna be higher. But this is the way I rock my tree. So when it comes to the monk that I chose is the Invoker. So we end up going for Chill Effect. Of course, I'm the Blizzard, Elemental Damage, and the Icial Rage. The reason why I go for this one particular is because this is a good buff to put while you're taking down a name. You can pretty much kill any name with this. It gives you a big boost of DPS. It doesn't last long, but it's long enough for you to kill the name, okay? So that's what I like to use. Of course, this is what I was saying before. To gain your spirits, you need a good body armor and a good, as you can see, energy shield and invasion on your body armor. So for every 6 energy shield, you get 1 spirit, and for every 15 invasion, you get 1 spirit. So if you get over 1,000 invasion and over 400 energy shield, you should be able to get the the spirits that you need while playing the game too, also to get all the spirits that you get during the game, right? For you to be able to rock 235 spirit. And I went for this one here. I went for 12 critical hit chance and critical hit ignore non-negative element resistance over here. So we ended up deciding to go on this particular side. So we went on this side. The reason why we felt that the increased skill speed gives us the best DPS, and also I really like the fact that this one gives you the increased critical damage bonus. We went for the increased attack speed over here. We are going to go up over here, but later, see, like these ones here, I got them after, okay? So I followed this tree first, and the ones around here that give you the invasion energy shield, I come and get them later on, but you could go get them whenever you want. The reason for it is because you get a lot of increased invasion and you get a lot of maximum energy shield, okay? And also this one right here, it gives you extra movement speed, and also gives you that extra mana regeneration, which I was saying, mana regeneration for at least, I feel like the Ice Monk, it is a bit of an issue. Now, there's only one thing that you have no choice to get, and that is the one over here, Renaissance. So it's very, very simple to get there. All you gotta do is go straight. Of course, if I could rock this correctly, and you get that, right? But we also get this one right here, okay? Which this one increases your mana regeneration and also reduces the cost of your skills. So again, I feel like after testing many of these passives, I feel like this is the one that actually helped me the most when it comes to basically getting like being able to actually not having mana problem, okay? But also, if you notice, when you go up here on the left, there's 2 things, okay? One, of course, you can get critical extra damage over here, but you can get this one here, which gives you very, very nice shield and also gives you mana regeneration. And if you get to the last one over here, you can see it gives you 12% increased mana regeneration with 6% increased intelligence, okay? And again, it's also a lot of energy shield, so something very, very, very good, right? So let's just go on the left over here real quick so you can see that, of course, we went for that. And of course, we went for these notes over here. They're DPS notes, so why not? We also are using From Nothing. And the gem From Nothing that we're using, we're actually using these 3 right here. They give you 25 increased attack damage. So it's 75 right here. By the way, the socket that I was using, not the socket, but the thing that I was using on my amulet, it's this thing right here, Overwhelming Strike, which gives you 20% increased critical hit chance for attacks. It gives you critical damage bonus for attacks, and it also gives you increased stun built up with critical hits. So whatever, I like it. It does pretty good. Let's go back to the tree over here. So go back over here. We decided, a lot of people go, for example, this one right here. We decided not to go for that, and that's why we go for the ones over here. I just feel like this actually gives you more, but it's a debate. We do also go for this right here. The reason we go for this because we feel like it gives you a lot of energy. It gives you a lot of invasion, which is very, very, very good. One of our sockets is right here. We end up using the Spirit Shine over here, the Jewel, whatever you want to call it. It gives you increased cold damage. It gives you increased maximum energy shield, increased critical hit chance, and the minion thing, don't even pay attention to that, but it is what it is. So we have these notes over here that give you extra damage, and we have a socket over here. And this one here, it's important because this is the only socket that we have like this, the Ruby wise, because it gives you the one rage on melee hit. So it's important to have rage in your build. It does definitely, there's a way for you to get it another way if you use the one of the spirit gems that give you a front rage, but I like to use it like this. It's the exact same thing, but there's multiple ways for you to get rage, but this is one of the ways you can get. And also we ended up getting not a real great one, but we have 15% increased melee damage on it and a bit of block, so whatever, it's okay, I guess. So if we go on the other side over here, I did forget this one here though. We have another socket. It's exact. All my sockets are all jewels. They're all sapphires. They all have the same stats on them. It's always cold damage, increased maximum energy shield, and increased critical hit chance. That's the main focus on the jewels. Okay. We do go down all the way here because we do go get this particular one over here, which is Falcon Technique, which is what I was saying about the dex. It definitely increases your attack speed, so that's very, very good. Also, we go for this one here that gives you, dexterity. And we go for the invasion over here and over here. We feel like this is very, very powerful, like invasion-wise. And we also go down here to get the same gem, like I said. And we go get these damage notes over here. Now, if you go back, of course, from over here, we have another way we go down. We get the damage notes over here. We get the quarterstaff damage notes, which I feel like are very, very strong over here. Again, the same socket. It's always the same thing. We go over here, we get the arrow of damage, which is also, I think, very, very good. We also get these damage notes right here. And we go all the way down over here, and we get the other, our final jewel. So that's the build, guys. That's the DPS. As you can see, we're rocking 295k as an Ice Strike. It's pretty much 300k, but once you're in game, once you're attacking, it goes way higher than that. I'm not exactly sure what the numbers are, but it goes way higher. You'll see it's way over 300k, but you could pretty much kill anything in the game, kill any boss in the game, could do anything in the game. Very powerful build, very strong defensively. As you can see, 4,000 shield. That means you got 8,500 plus shield over here, almost 8,500. Your spirit, again, is the only thing that you have to have 235 spirit to be able to run it. And that's it. So that's the build I'm using. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. It's nothing super crazy, but it's a 50 divine, give or take 50 divine. Maybe a little bit more expensive now because the market is kind of weird. But give or take, if you want to have a build that's a little bit different, Ice Strike Rise a little bit different than the other ones that are on YouTube right now, this is the one I run. I feel like it's fun, and yeah, let me know if you guys like it. We end up selling something here. What are we selling? See, look at this. As I was doing the video, so I basically create these things. Well, I create them, I craft them, and as you can see, people like to buy stuff with high invasion and high energy shield. And this one here, for example, it doesn't have the chaos resistance, but it does have the fire and lightning resistance, and I saw them on the market. So where is it? It's over here. I like to craft. I really like crafting in this game. I don't know about you guys. I know a lot of people are disappointed with certain things of the crafting, but personally, I just like it. It's fun. I kind of like the aspect of the RNG part of it. I feel like, I mean, if there wouldn't be RNG, you would just craft all the best stuff all the time. So I feel like RNG is an important thing to have to be able to actually, like feel good about whenever you craft something expensive that's worth like 1 divine, 2 divines, whatever, 10 divines, stuff like that. And that's it, So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the build. And let me know what you guys want to see in the future. I'm still crafting the best quarterstaff, still trying to craft the best quarterstaff. Unfortunate. I feel like less and less people are interested in this league. So what could happen with that series is that maybe we'll wait and start doing more of them when the new season comes out, so that everybody resets and we start from scratch, like a new. Well, most likely I'm gonna play a monk again, but we'll see what happens. But for now, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I feel like I'm talking over the exact same thing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.